I am resident of Collinwood from YouTube. Joel Sains. This is my buddy Patrick McCray. This is my buddy Alan Gallant. We are here to review Star Trek The Motion Picture. No, this is not a rerun of Saturday night's podcast. I swear. Uh, this movie is directed by Robert Wise, who was a protege of Val Lewton. Screenplay by Harold Livingston. Story
Yeah.
by Alan Dean Foster. Based on Star Trek by Gene Roddenberry. This movie is produced by Gene Roddenberry. Cinematographer is Richard H. Klein. Edited by Todd C. Ramsey. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. Release date December 7th, 1979. Its budget was $44 million. Its box office was $139 million. So, guys, I'm going to start the same question I asked Butch. So, how important is this movie to the franchise of Star Trek itself?
I think it's important. I think it's flawed, but it's very important. I think, and you have to understand the context of the time when it was released in 1979. People had only had the reruns and the animated series for a couple of years in the early to mid 70s, and well, all that sort of kept whetting people's taste. This was an unveiling of something like we want to do this, and they were pushing for a whole series right from the beginning. They wanted, Paramount wanted to go ahead and take total advantage of the fact that they managed to finally get the entire main cast together and did this thing. So I think it's really, I think it is important. I think it's a benchmark that's from which all things spring henceforth and right up to today.
Patrick?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, for one thing, it was an extraordinary, benchmark in television history. Um, just to get a television series mounted this handsomely, not a couple of episodes put together or something slapdash, but this handsomely, and as far as I know, never happened. For a piece of even when the show was doing well in syndication, it still was kind of a joke. It was, oh, look what these Trekkies will buy next. They
Yeah, it's cult status.
just can't give it up.
Yeah,
And in this case, no, that was not the case whatsoever. They were in the driver's seat. So, it was a legitimization of everything that Star Trek had the promise of being culturally. It was, and this was the very last gasp. In fact, it might have been the last gasp of what should have been considered the era of the roadshow picture, which is where a movie like Star Trek: The Motion Picture 10, 15 years before would have had more questionable special effects, but also would have been taken from town to town and tarred and feathered and called to judgment for its. No, just kidding. It would have been taken from town to town and shown off. Really building word of mouth as it moved across the country,
yeah.
sometimes with elements of the making of the movie along for the ride.
Or one of the stars along for the ride
One of
to
the stars,
to
sure.
ask, do a Q and A afterwards or whatever. Sort of like a late stage Paul Revere and the Raiders single, which that's
Yeah,
what happened. That's what happened to Indian Reservation. Um,
yeah,
Paul Revere jumped on his motorcycle and took it to every radio station between California and New York. I mean, he just that's kind of how you do it sometimes.
yeah.
And this this kind of got that in magazines of the time, like it got a lot of pre-press because it was the thing that because a lot of these magazines, I mean, obviously There's a magazine called Starlog and all these other various magazines that dealt with science fiction and horror and dealt with the cult element of that. And I remember there was a lot of PR about this whole thing and how it was going to do this and how it was going to do that. And it did, I think it really stimulated interest in it beyond the hardcore.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now there's a movie that comes up before this that came from television called House of Dark Shadows,
Yes.
which was also included the cast from the series.
Mhm.
So Star Trek sort of follows that suit in a sense. The big difference, obviously, is other than one being horror, one being science fiction. Uh, in Dark Shadows, they're more the characters by name. Here, not at all. They're the characters from the series, literally. Um, what did you? How important was that to, in every way, connect it with the series itself, guys?
Was what specifically?
Well, they're taking the characters, unlike Dark Shadows, where it's by name only. The characters are
Sure,
in namesake.
sure.
That's not the case here. They are the characters from the series.
Sure. I mean, I would almost say that, for a lot of the characters, Lieutenant is a part of their name. And, I mean, if Kirk calls out Lieutenant and Uhura moves her head, well, at the very least, I think it's easy to surmise that he was talking about her.
Yes. No, very few ensigns in this movie, though. People weren't being
It's a
called
big mission.
ensigns.
It's a big mission. We don't have time
There
for
were
that.
there were no red shirts in this particular
No,
film.
no. We don't have time for that.
The huge difference between like the Dark Shadows film and the Star Trek film, I think, is budget. I mean, it also because the technology hadn't really developed for a lot of special effects and all that sort of thing in 1970 that had by 1977 to 1979. You're going to get an entirely different quality film. I think they are similar in that there's a lot of character integrity from the television series to the movie,
Sure.
but as you were saying, the characters are somewhat different in House of Dark Shadows. Their personas are altered, even though they're the same characters.
But I think you're right. You are going to get a very different quality film in that one is a quality film. But I'm not going to say which one. Well, your
They're both a
imagination's
lot of fun,
going.
though, for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that's
So
a lot of
whatever.
fun. When did you guys first see the film, Patrick?
Oh, my God! What day did it open in the U.S.? What day? It was a December day, as I recall.
You're muted,
Oh
Jewel.
my God, I am.
No, not you, Jewel.
Oh, Jewel is muted. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
Jewel is muted.
goodness.
There you go. There you go.
What date did this bad boy open?
December 7th, 1979.
A
A
day
day
that will
that
live
will
in
live in
infamy.
infamy.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No bomb here.
Yeah,
Just plenty of sushi raining down on the fine people in
on the
Washington
on
D.C.
the decks.
at the
Yes.
premiere.
Mm.
Now, for those wondering, it's a Pearl Harbor reference. If you don't know your history, Pearl Harbor initially happened on a Sunday, so
Hmm.
which December 7th.
So there, it's different.
September 7th in 1941. That's right.
Yeah, 1941.
Yep.
Way back when.
Way back. It wasn't before Shatner was born, though. Matter
No,
of fact, he
no.
would have been 8 years old.
Yes, he would have been.
Oh
And a
my
fine
And he was probably
8-year-old
sitting in his home in Montreal
he
going,
would have been.
Shoot, a war! We're at war!
Sure,
God.
sure. I'm
Alan,
sure he's a patriotic lad,
Alan,
even though it wasn't his country.
when did you first see this movie?
I probably saw it in early 1980 when it was still in the movie houses. Yeah.
Cool.
Would have been a nice respite from the winter up in Maine, no doubt.
Now, for those who have never seen this movie, the plot of the movie, in 23rd century Starfleet monitoring station detects an alien entity hidden in a massive energy cloud, moving through space towards Earth. The cloud easily destroys three Klingon ships, which is a big deal. So the crew of the Enterprise are undergoing a major, which is undergoing a major refit, are tasked with the assignment. And no, James T. Kirk is not the captain. He's not in the captain's chair yet. That honor would go to actor Stephen Collins, who is playing a character on this movie. If that name sounds familiar to you, it should. He was the dad in a little series called Seventh Heaven. That was a preacher though. So, uh, guys, what did you make of Stephen Collins here in this movie? His character.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
I'll let you have fun with this one, Alan.
this would be Stephen Collins' character, not Stephen Collins, that we're going to talk about here.
Yeah.
Uh, he's a device. He's a device. I mean, he's a character. He is, and Stephen Collins does a fairly decent job of acting through that character. But the character is also a device. He's an instrument of the climax of the whole film, and so I mean, he's definitely integral to the plot. But also, it's sort of this whole thing. He has a personal relationship with Persis Kambata's character. So there's a connection there that's developed that again pays off in the climax of the movie. Why they made her shave her head, I have no idea. She's a gorgeous woman. I mean, she was, rest her soul.
Look at whose idea it was. I remember Barry Diller and Michael Eisman, Eisner had a real disagreement when there were some notices for the film that came in poorly or something, and her tonsorial status was mentioned. I think Diller turned to Eisner and said, "You see, by you, bald is sexy."
Yeah.
So apparently one of them had
In
something.
Diller's case, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So one of them had something very personal at stake.
Yeah. I mean, it did not devastate her appearance
No.
or her attractiveness, but it was just, I think, a little strange for audiences.
I think it makes her look a little sillier, like when she's being shocked by V'ger and her head's moving.
Yeah.
That's I don't know why it's amusing, but it just is vaguely amusing.
Yeah.
So there we go, Baldy. Now, you realize when you're seeing Stephen Collins, of course, you're seeing a multifaceted actor who, when you think of Stephen Collins, you think of youth. And when you think of youth, you think of him in the movie Fedora, where he plays a young, oh gosh, who is it? It's William Randolph Holden. Yes, William Holden. He's playing a young William Holden, and I'm sure has done all sorts of other interesting things with his life. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. When you're looking at Stephen Collins, you're looking at part of Star Trek Phase 2. And yeah, thank you. And Star Trek Phase 2 was the television series that they were going to do right before they did this. And they had it cast. They were ready to go. And tell me if this sounds familiar. There was going to, I don't know if she was a counselor or not, because I tipped my hand there. But there's an alien who can empathize with thoughts and probably is very sexual.
Extra sensual perception, yes.
That's right. Well, originally, Deanna Troi was supposed to have 3 breasts.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The true story.
Yeah, I know. I think you've told this before.
Good Gene Roddenberry taste there from the people who brought you Pretty Good on La Row, which we need to watch.
This is one of Gene's fantasies.
So you're looking at Kirk moving upstairs into a more executive officer role, and you are looking at a new first officer, the young Kirk. I think especially so that Shatner cannot hold everything hostage with contract demands.
Yes.
AKA William Decker.
Right.
So, or Willard. Willard Decker. Terrible
Willard
choice of names. But Gene hadn't been to a movie in 30 years.
Well,
So
yeah.
I mean, I love him, but let's face it. Um, so,
He'd been to a few Loop films, I
so
think.
yeah, so you have a preview of Star Trek: The Next Generation, very much, and that's what you're getting there. And I think, considering that he signed on for a television series and instead is getting a major motion picture with his name, I think, in a box
Yeah,
on the
Mhm.
on the poster.
on the poster. Yeah,
Then okay, well, good for you.
yep.
What did you guys think of the plot and the pacing of this movie, Alan?
It's
It's very
it
European.
really strokes the special effects and
Yes.
all of that terrain that comes with the
Mhm.
special effects. So there's probably a good 45 minutes in this film that could have been clipped out, as far as I'm concerned. I have nothing against the plot. I have nothing against when action happens and when real tension is built rather than the staring out at this thing, and they do that like over and over and over again. It's too much. That's what I mean by the flaw of the film.
Sure.
Its
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
place in the canon is unquestioned. It needs to be there, but that to me was just, it was hard. And I watched it. I didn't try to fast forward through it. I realized that was going to.
God,
I remembered it.
you manned up.
Yeah, I remembered it from when I actually saw it in the movie theater. But in the movie theater, when you see it in '79, you're seeing all the special effects, and it lands differently, than it does now when you're seeing it,
Yes.
because the special effects are different. And they're '79, '80 special effects. We're coming up onto Tron, here. We're not into really highly sophisticated um, computer effects yet because they haven't been invented. So I mean that's fair, but at the same time, it just they linger on that stuff an awful long time.
Yeah.
I mean it's like takes forever to get to V'ger. It's like, and okay, we get it. This thing is massive. We figure that out in the first 5 minutes, and it takes about 20 or 25 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
So that's a bit long for me.
You guys have mentioned Phase Two, and so Barry Diller had grown concerned by the direction Star Trek had taken in Planet of the Titans, and suggested to Roddenberry that it was time to take the franchise back to its roots as a television series. Diller planned on a new Star Trek series, forming the cornerstone for a new television network. Though Paramount had reluctant to abandon its work on the film, Roddenberry wanted to bring many of the production staff from the original series to work on the new show titled Star Trek Phase 2. Producer Harold Livingston was assigned to find writers for new episodes, while Roddenberry prepared a writer's guide briefing the uninitiated on the franchise canon of the original cast. Only Leonard Nimoy stated he would not return. Roddenberry created a Vulcan prodigy character named Xenon,
Zahn.
to replace Spock. And since Zahn was too young to fill the role of the first officer, Roddenberry subsequently developed the character of Decker and uh,
Ilya.
Aliyah. The new series plot episode in They Image was based on a two-page outline by Roddenberry about a NASA probe returning to Earth. Having gained sentence, Alan Dean Foster wrote a statement for the plot, which Livingston turned into a teleplay.
And by the way, the probe in the movie, which they refer to as Voyager 6, actually looks exactly like Voyager 1.
Cool. Sorry, Patrick, did you mention what you thought of this plot here? I'm sorry.
I mean, it's very solid for a television pilot. I think it gets the slowness of the movie is one of those things that you just have to kind of accept.
Mhm.
It's kind of like sitting down to watch Barry Lyndon or something like that. Roger Ebert had a really good quote about it, where he was, of course, quoting somebody else, but he said, this is a really boring movie, but sometimes it's nice to be bored. And that's a really interesting statement. I think it's akin to people who go to aquariums, or people who watch baseball, and just seeing this endless, slow kind of procession of meaningless sights and sounds. But no, I'm just kidding about.
Well,
I'm kidding
it's a
about
texture
aquariums.
rather than text.
Yes,
You
I'm
know,
kidding about aquariums, of course. But you caught that one. I'm kidding about baseball also. It's fascinating to see when you go to the field. Um, however, having said that, and I doubt that I did, it's almost a meditative process. It's like a Godfrey Reggio movie, and I don't think you can really go to one of those films and then turn around and talk crap about Star Trek: The Motion Picture,
not if
because
you
it's
sit through the
just,
entire film anyway.
yeah, I mean, it's just as, shall we say, stately.
Stately,
Yeah,
epic.
yeah, it's just as stately in its execution. I think is a safe way to put it. So, yeah, so we have that. I think it's a very good movie about people learning what their true path really is, and people learning to change the dance, which I think is going on in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's glorifying it too much or not, but
No, I mean, I think that's the solid theme behind
yeah,
all of the delay, but
yeah,
it's there
yeah. It just I mean, it takes a while. It takes a
to
while
get
to get there,
there. Yeah.
and you have to be kind of ready for that. And if you are, it's a much easier film to watch than if you're not.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're a fan of the original series and you've seen the original series, this is a perfect nostalgia movie in every
Well,
way.
yeah,
It leans hard into it, which I like that about that. My biggest nitpick of this movie isn't its length. It's I do wish they would have had Stephen Collins' character and William Shatner's character, Captain Kirk, butt heads a lot more. Instead of just that scene where he says, "I'm taking over command."
Mhm.
Now, Stephen Collins isn't for that, but he kind of just has to take it, and it's like,
I think it parallels the pecking order of the actors. It
yeah,
just does, you know.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What's some of you guys' favorite scenes in this movie?
Um,
Oh boy.
Hmm.
Well, anything with McCoy, he really
Mhm.
saves the movie. I mean, every wisecrack and quip that he has is something that the film desperately needs.
yeah, it's dynamic. It lands every time. It really does, and he's relaxed. Not everybody's relaxed in this film for reasons of acting as well as for personal reasons. Um, you know, at this point in his career, Shatner had been doing made for TV movies and lived in his truck for a while before he finally caught back on. Back in 70, 69, 70, after the show wrapped, he went through a divorce and all this other stuff was happening. He did manage to steal one or two of his toupees, so I think he probably used those in Kingdom of the Spiders with a different hairstyle or whatever. But or maybe he got some new ones because that was an actual funded film. But I mean, I like Kingdom of the Spiders, but
I like King of the Spiders a lot. That movie scared the heck out of me.
it's not something he got paid a huge amount of money to do. Is what I'm trying to say.
No.
He was not, and then he got he started getting guest spots like on Columbo and some of that sort of thing. But after this movie, then he got T.J. Hooker.
Mhm.
Hmm?
Within a year or two of this movie coming out, he got T.J. Hooker. Plus, the second film was going into production and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, Bill might have had a few rough years, but
Mhm.
a very few. He always had a job whether it was on Liars Club or whatever.
Well, I
And
mean, he did the game show circuit for a while, and when he was doing the animated voiceovers for the animated
Mhm.
series too. So, I mean, yeah, he was working. He just wasn't, his career didn't, like it
Yes.
would.
Yes, and I mean, I've heard and read his side of all of that, and I'm sure it's absolutely true. It's a heartwarming story of him going to see his daughters rather than meet with one of the Kennedys for dinner, and it was a surefire dinner hit, etc. And he
Yeah,
wouldn't do it,
yeah.
and his daughters didn't care less, couldn't care
Well,
less about his
kids
presence.
don't understand the gravity of that
Yeah.
decision from a parent, especially one that's divorced from their mother.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I mean, I'm sure he doesn't regret it.
No, not at all. Not at all. He recounts it
Mhm.
with a lot of mirth in the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love the scene with McCoy. He won't step into the transporter to beam up, and I'll get him. And he orders him, and it reminds me of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Do you want my Adam Scanner or Space Boy? You know, like,
Oh, I think that's very intentional.
right,
Yeah,
right. I mean,
yeah.
that's classic. Oh God. Um, there was this. They drafted me. They drafted me. God. Uh, who is you guys' favorite Star Trek character?
Of all time, or of this movie,
This
or
movie.
well, McCoy. I mean, he's certainly he's the most enjoyable to watch.
Hmm. I would typically tend to agree. Uh, I had forgotten how well developed the Klingons were by this first movie.
Yes, they were.
They had completely retooled them, and it was going to be a really good template, unlike the beige uniforms, which were going to go away, fortunately. And those strange tops with the with the tail that covered the genitals. It was.
Huge top with the tail that covered
Yeah,
the
I mean,
genitals.
Kirk was wearing one too. They instead of having normal
Oh,
shirt
the
tail,
yeah,
had that front tail
the flap.
thing. Yeah, the
It's a
flap,
flap.
genital flap,
It's a genital flap, and I mean, every good captain has one.
I guess. Uh,
That's yeah. I mean, come on.
Fortunately, there were no
You're not
blue
cool if you
aliens
don't.
around, or that flap would have become a tent. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, you're not cool if you don't have a genital flap. Come on.
but yeah, I thought that was
That
kind
stop you.
of.
Um,
But I thought that was really cool how they had advanced the Klingons that far right away. You know.
Yeah. Here's a question for you guys from a villain standpoint. So, for those who don't know, there was the Gorn, the Klingons, all that. Who is your favorite villain of the original Enterprise?
Mm.
the most formidable. I don't know. I would see. And there are a lot that just about did them in Doomsday Machine, etc. But I mean, I would say Khan. I think they chose really well when they chose Ricardo
Oh
Montalban and
yes,
chose to bring back that
absolutely.
character.
Goes so well they reprised him. So
Yeah,
and he did even a better job the second time around. So in my estimation, which we'll be
yeah.
covering soon, but um, I I actually agree with that in terms of strict villain, but the villain in the Corbomite maneuver is one of my
Well,
favorites.
Baylock, of course,
It's
Commander Baylock.
yes,
Drink the
it,
Tanya.
yeah, it's great the way it ends. The whole climax and denouement of that episode.
Well, and needless to say, we've got the whoever the doctor is in this side of paradise.
Mm,
Whoever he is with his son Adam.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. The thing I really liked about this too is that Baylock is voiced by
By Clint Howard.
well, yes.
Oh no, he's not voiced by Clint Howard. What am I saying?
No, he's acted by Clint Howard, but
Madness.
he's voiced by two different actors. For the fake image of it is what's his name, Lurch,
Ted Cassidy.
Ted Cassidy, which is perfect. Of course, Ted Cassidy.
I didn't know he was the model for the puppet.
No, not the model for the puppet, but the voice. He was the voice
Really?
of the puppet.
Of
Yes.
Baylock?
Yes.
When he's okay,
Yes.
I believe you.
You will surrender. The whole thing.
Yeah, all right, I can hear it
Total
now.
voice. Yeah. You have 20 of your Earth minutes. However, he knew about Earth minutes, I don't know, but
Smart guy.
but anyway, that was the most fun villain, I think. The most terrifying villain was not a being; it was a machine for me. It was the Doomsday Machine.
I mentioned the Doomsday Machine.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, yeah. That was the most terrifying one to me because it's just like implacable. It just eats everything in its path.
Yeah, I mean, the most fun I would say was probably Core, the Klingon played by John Colicos.
Yes, he was pretty good, and also
The
what
guys in Piece of the Action.
guy? Yeah, and what's his name that plays Mud in Mud's Women? He is hilarious.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
We got a bunch anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I do love the effects of this movie, and I love all the little models we got of the ships. Very, very cool. Uh, the computer, basically a supercomputer, if you will. Now, Butch had an interest. I think this was a theory of his. That his theory was that the computer would, with the two people, would go to form the Borg. What's you guys' thoughts on that?
This is more of a merge. The Borg is more of a infestation.
Mm,
Where the biological unit still survives, at least in some form or other, and then the machine becomes part of it, and it's like that. But I get what he's saying about merging. I get
mhm,
that because there is a merging going on. But in this case, it's literal. It's on the molecular electrical level in this movie, so it's a bit different. But yeah, I can understand why he would think that the merging
mhm,
point of view.
mhm. Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, it's there are lots of machine creatures. I mean, would I be happy with a story where that happened? Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, and did it happen? Yes,
Mm,
it did. It happened absolutely as much as it didn't happen.
The one thing that I drew some parallels from the episode of the original series where they encountered Nomad, because Nomad was all about the creator and all of that sort of thing too. I mean, there was an aspect of Nomad that was like that, and Kirk had to convince Nomad that, and actually what he does is he blows his circuits basically because sheer force of Kirk's will, but it sort of has some elements of Nomad, except in this case he convinces or negotiates with V'ger and tells V'ger, the carbon units are your creator, in much the way that Nomad discovers that
Yeah.
Kirk is the creator. He's
Okay.
trying to do
So we've gotten to that point
that.
where, like in the cage, I think we all need to take a big deep breath and kumbaya.
And where's the illusion, right?
Yeah, in that this is one of Gene's sexual fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
Um and
Virgin always.
and just get used to that
Right.
because that is in fact exactly what's going on in the cage. They capture the captain and they bring him pretty girl upon pretty girl of all colors and even a
Yes.
horse to see what it is that will keep him there in his place to
Right.
stud a new race of humans for them to benevolently study. No doubt being given, like in something out of Doctor Strangelove, breeding stock to.
Yeah. And then later, Kirk becomes the sexual buccaneer for his fantasies.
He does, but in the midst of all of that, what do we have? But we have a problem that is solved when the human basically has sex with the machine.
Or
And
seduces the machine in some way, at
yeah,
least.
which, according to Dr. McCoy, replicates all bodily functions. He says with
Yes,
his
that's
eyes
right.
kind of rolling around.
That's right. Because he
Yeah.
knows that somebody's going to try.
Well, I think he knows like precisely which bodily functions we're talking about here.
Yes.
And yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. God bless Gene. He was his own. He was a sexual buccaneer of sorts.
He was one of God's own.
Yeah.
Um, so just a little something to love and
Hmm.
from the oven, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Yes. It's part of the recipe, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, if hypothetically speaking, if we don't get this movie here, like if this movie doesn't happen, does anything else happen with Star Trek? Like the Next Generation, all the other.
No, no, I don't
I
think
don't
so. I
think so
think
either, because I don't think they would have gone back to a TV series if this movie had completely failed.
yeah, I think this
Yeah.
was a well, we gave it a shot, boys, and now let's
Mhm.
move on to stories about people with horns or whatever.
Yeah. I think from a standpoint of importance, this movie's a 12.
Oh God,
Just,
yes.
just
Yes, in
for
terms of its importance in the canon, and also the continued success of the
yeah,
series, of the original series in various other forms.
yeah. Uh, Now, as an overall movie, I've given this a 7.5.
I give it about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Because of the
right,
lengthiness of it, where there's so much uh, stroking of all the special effects, and
right. I don't think so much this movie's about the plot, more so than the nostalgia of it.
sure, it's
But
reintroducing all of
yeah,
these folks and the Enterprise and everything else
mhm.
to this audience that's been hungry for it, and also a new audience that doesn't know it's hungry for it, but it's going to find out.
Easily Wrath of Khan is the better film. But
Sure, it's a,
I mean,
a colossal film, a
this is the
stunning film.
kickoff. Wrath of
yeah,
Khan
this is the kickoff.
is the game. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. And everyone, and everyone. God. Um, I have no more questions for you guys. Is there anything you want to add about the movie or?
No, I think we've underscored its significance
Mhm.
really well. And like when I first saw it, I had that feeling, like, oh, this is cool. Now we're
Mhm.
back, and I had that feeling about it.
I
Um,
I still get that. I still really get that kind of tingle from it. I get.
yeah, I mean, you get
Mhm.
that theme that's going to become even more well known with in future films, and also with in particular with Next Generation. That theme keeps repeating over and over again in the first part of the movie, and it's catchy as hell. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having it repeating itself. Um, but it also makes a good dramatic filler for some of those lengthy sort of shots where, oh,
Oh yeah.
here's the dock.
Mhm.
Okay, we're taking it out. Now you're going to see a light smear, and that's going to be warp speed. Hey, let's go. That kind of stuff. It's happening.
I have to admit, I am a real sucker for that section of the movie.
Hmm.
I love the naval pomposity of it.
And
Um,
the sheer size of it, that
yeah, the
they
Growlithe is
achieve. Yeah.
all of that. I think is just
Yeah.
is just fantastic.
Oh,
So
it's revelatory, especially the first, in its time, especially revelatory.
yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Go on to tell me, give the movie Patrick.
Oh, I give the movie a 9. I think it's. I think
Okay.
it is an accomplishment.
Mhm.
Above all else.
Al?
Yeah. I mean, I'll pull it up to an 8 for me.
Okay.
It's just the only flaw that I have in it is that it lingers too much on certain things. But even some of that is understandable in its time. Again.
Yeah.
But historically speaking, and what it means to the franchise, it is a 12.
You. Yeah, it's huge.
When do we When do we look at Wrath of Khan?
Tomorrow, if you're available.
I am.
There you go. God, what a movie.
Oh.
Ricardo Montalban may have played the greatest movie villain ever. We'll debate that.
Speaking of interstellar sexual buccaneers.
Yes.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Is there anything you guys want to add before we go?
No, I think that's it for me.
Cool. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Day book Unbound is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel, Collins Port After Dark, will be in the description box. You guys have a great night and stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.